That Storms of Life album was a watershed moment in the history of country music, and it is worth celebrating 25 years of that. It truly is.
The thing that I found really attractive about him as an artist was this immediate sort of sense of integrity. When he sang something, there was no way not to believe it. And I think there are a lot of artists like that, but they don't connect with that perfect sort of unknown piece of timing where that artist happens to deliver something that an audience didn't even know that they were looking for.
We kept finding all these great country songs in publishing houses, and I'm thinking, why has someone not recorded these songs? But most people who were doing traditional music then were writing most of what they did. So we just kept finding one great song after another.
What Randy was looking for song-wise is nobody was looking for those kind of songs. You know, everybody was headed down a path. He showed up and all of a sudden it just went a different direction. But by the time his second album hit, everybody was looking for those kind of songs.
There was a huge audience out there that was starving, not getting what they wanted. And all of a sudden, here's this young, good-looking guy singing the kind of music that their parents used to listen to. And everybody loved it.
Well, anytime that George Jones says, who's gonna fill their shoes, we'll just say, Randy Travis!
And who are you here to see?
Randy Travis.
Thank you very much.
When we made the first album together, neither one of us had any idea that we were going to sell 5 million albums. 40,000 was my target.
And he sentenced me to hang in mid-July. He looked down at me and said, your life's...
There's a great story of him walking into Warner Brothers when his first album started to really sell a lot. And they caught him in the hallway and said, look at this, your album's like number 5 on the pop album charts. And he said, it's on the pop album charts. And he said, yeah. He said, well, get it off there. I'm a country artist. I'm not supposed to be on the pop album charts. And they said, no, you don't understand. It's like, it's not just the pop albums. It's just like the best-selling albums in the whole country. And so he said, oh, okay. But he was upset that he was on the pop charts.
We threw our hats in the air. I can't explain to you how different it was 25 years ago. He was like water on the desert for those of us who really love country music.
Randy, he's a real cowboy.
My dad ran cattle, horses. Pretty much grew up as a cowboy. Quick draw. I started practicing that when I was 13 years old.
He could actually, you'd see stuff in a movie, you know, with Roy Rogers or somebody, and he'd pull the gun out and shoot something. And I've never known anybody that could do that, and he could really do it. I think there's a story of him. He hated cell phones. I know this is a true story. He was with some folks, and there was a cell phone, and they threw the cell phone up in the air, and he drew it and shot a hole through the cell phone. It's a true story. You know, run into some people and they say somebody's an old soul. This is evidence. I always felt that about his voice, that he understood something about phrasing and about how to deliver a story when he was singing a song. If the song spoke to him and he knew he wanted to sing that song, there wasn't a whole lot of coaching that he needed from me.
And a lot of the songs he wrote or sang, he related to also because of the people he got to know singing in those bars every night. And his own story or his own personal experience, I think, also contributed to the kind of song Randy liked to sing.
Each day when we were looking for material, they just play you these new songs that the writers have been writing. So this one starts playing, and Alan Shamblin wrote this. It's about his great-grandfather. And so I'm sitting there, just all I can think about is my grandfather. Now, this happened. He's sitting in a chair under a mulberry tree in his yard, and he has his hat on the ground. and I'm riding around him on a bicycle. So I'm circling him on a bicycle, and he tells me not to run over his hat. And I made about 2 more rounds, and I ran over his hat. and because of his age, it's like the hand speed surprised me. He had me so quick, the bike stayed upright. And now, being from that generation, you know, if a kid did something wrong, he believed you should get a whipping. So I got a good one. Really a good one. But being the brat kid that I was, when he let go, I figured, you can't catch me. So I run far enough away, I'm in his driveway, so I threw some rocks at him. So he had quite a temper, so he starts throwing rocks back at me. True story. A 70-year-old man, 7 or 8-year-old kid throwing rocks at each other in the driveway. It's a picture of love. But anyway, give me a cue. He wore starched white shirts, buttoned up a neck, and he'd sit in the shade and watch the chickens peck. And his teeth were gone, but what the heck? I thought that he walked on water. Said he was a cowboy when he was young. He could handle a rope, and he was good with a gun. And my mama's daddy was his oldest son. And I thought that he walked on water. And if the story was told, only heaven knows that his hat seemed to me like an old halo. And though his wings, they were never seen, I thought that he walked on water. He tied a cord to the end of a mop and said, son, here's a pony, keep her at a trot. And I'd ride in circles while he laughed a lot. Then I'd flop down beside him. And he was 90 years old and 63. And I loved him and he loved me. And Lord, I cried the day he died, 'cause I thought that he walked on water. And if the story was told, only heaven knows that his hat seemed to me like an old halo. And though his wings, they were never seen, I thought that he walked on water. I thought that he walked on water.
It was about a 4.5-hour surgery. It seemed like about 4.5 years in the waiting room. But Dr. Mack came out and said he made it. The champion that he is, he made it through that.
He does remain on intravenous medications to help support his heart, but we are decreasing the doses of those every day and actually beginning to start him on oral medications, which he will use long-term to help support his heart.
Although Mr. Travis is still in critical condition, it has stabilized. We do not anticipate significant changes on a daily basis, but we will keep you informed as his condition improves.
You know, when the project was put on hold, from then to now, nobody's really been aware of what Randy and Mary have been going through together and just how close he's been to the end.
The 5.5 months that we were in the hospitals, it was just one day after the next and one problem after another. And the doctors told us he just need to go ahead and pull the plug on him. That was probably one of my darkest moments because that was, for an instant there, it's like, is there no hope?
I remember Mary and I were talking and she asked me what I thought, and I said, you know, there's no reason why you couldn't wait a few more days just to see how the next few days goes. And that's when she walked up and whispered in his ear.
You know, I went to his bed and I asked him, I said, honey, you gotta let me know if you wanna keep fighting. You gotta let me know that you can keep doing this. And a little tear fell down that face and he squeezed my hand and I knew that he was understanding everything that was going on. I went back to the doctors and I said, he's gonna fight, we're gonna fight, and we're watching you. We're gonna make sure y'all are gonna fight with us.
I don't think there were any doctors that thought he was gonna survive. I would call it a miracle that he's still with us.
Strength, hope, love, faith. Yeah.